Hi, it's Terri Levine, the Business Growth Guru. So, you're making a decision about working from home or working from an office. We've all been there and we needed to make that decision at some point about our businesses. There's a lot of things that are to be considered in making such a determination. I find there's many pros to work at home, so I'll share those first. You can work in your PJs or in your sweatpants. You don't have to get dressed or get ready for anything. You could come in as you are, basically, and dress however you choose. You don't have to put on makeup or do your hair or anything. Not for men, but for women. The second thing is that you can have just one computer versus having an office space that has a work computer and a home computer. Just one computer, so you have access to everything. Everything is always synchronized. Everything is up to date. You don't have to worry about where any files are, or if you left a physical file in the office and you don't have it at home, you don't have to carry a briefcase or papers back and forth. Everything is in one place, one location. Certainly another reason that many people choose to work at home is there's more freedom and flexibility. If you have children, you can be with your children. My dad lives with me, and so I get to spend time with him. Sometimes we can have lunch together, or we can have a cup of coffee during the day. So it gives me that kind of freedom. In my own circumstance, I get up very early in the morning, I work out, I meditate, I do all kinds of things, and I throw wash in. So there's some advantages to that as well. Another pro that comes up for a lot of people is that you don't have to deal with office politics. You don't have to deal with inter-office relationships and gossip. And for me, what I also think is a pro is you don't have to deal with a lot of time wasting. When I worked in an office, there were always people coming into my office. Sometimes it was to chit-chat, sometimes it was with problems, and I really felt like I was very distracted and I couldn't just sit down and get things done. So you don't have to deal with office mates, you don't have to deal with anything that anyone particularly that distracts you from the work that you need to get done, and you can be very, very focused. So there's probably other pros, and I think it's a good idea for you to literally sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and jot down the other pros. Now, I just want to make a note of something. I say piece of paper and a pen because when you keyboard, you don't engage both hemispheres of the brain, and so you're not as creative. So whenever you want to jot down a list or brainstorm, you actually want to do it with a pen and paper so that you can engage all creativity. So I do think it would be good for you to sit down and right here, right now, begin to think about for you personally, what are the pros? Another pro that I can think of, for example, right now as I'm talking to you in my business, is that the hours are very flexible. There are some days where I work during the day, let's say from 8 to 12, and then I go have lunch with a friend, take a walk in the park, do my errands, but then I may work again in the evening on the computer for another 3 or 4 hours. So again, personally, for me, I like the flexibility. So I want you to get down the pros for you, because there may be some things that are pros for you that I haven't thought of and that are important to you that I haven't thought of. Now, you also have to think about, and this could be a con, how you work. I, years ago, had a employee that wanted to work at home. And I allowed the employee to work at home, and literally nothing got done. I mean, nothing. Deadlines were missed, memos weren't done, reports were escaping, and I said, what's the problem? And in this case, it was a big con, a big obstacle, and that was that the employee could not get themselves structured. So if you're the type that's going to work at home and then be pulled into family conversation or babysitting the kids or running the kids around or, watching TV, I don't know what you're going to do. If that's an obstacle for you, then working at home should not be an option. I'm very structured and regimented in terms of what I get done, but the home part, for me, lets me have flexibility in my hours, so I love that. It gives me more freedom. I'm not wasting time to commute to an office and commute back. So for me, that's relevant. There are some people who love the drive or the walk to an office and kind of lets them chill out. There's something else I want you to think about, and that is, can you separate your life from your work? I had trouble with this. When I first started to work from home, I could not shut the office door. I would hear the fax machine. It was in the old days when you'd hear, "You've got and so I'd come running in to see what email came, and I just could not get anything done. My work drifted right into my personal life. If that's you, that's a con. It will actually have you overworked, overtired, and not give you freedom. So I had to really work on that. It was something that I had to structure and become very, very good at. And I recommend, by the way, if you do work at home, that you make it a policy to close the office door. Whenever you're done, and you should have a dedicated space for your office. If you can't find space at home that is dedicated and quiet and where other people's papers and things won't get mixed up and people won't be interfering and bothering you in your work, don't work at home. I recommend that you set that up. And then if you do, that you literally close the door. You determine the amount of hours you're going to work or the task that you're going to do. When it's done, it's done. Because otherwise it becomes too difficult to escape the office. So this is a good time to get a pen and paper, write down your pros, and then I want you to be really honest and write down your cons. What are the things that might hold you back? Will people be interfering? Will you get tied in with family drama or family tasks? Do you not have an office space? Is the office in a place where people are going to interfere or bump in? I find the decision to be highly personal. I don't believe there's a right or wrong decision. I do say to people, if you haven't tried working from home, you may want to try it. Don't commit to it, but give it a try and see whether it works for you. When I tried it, I realized that I had to make more of a separation of work and life. And so you'll notice what you may need to shift or change to make it work for you. But I do think this is highly personal. I do think it's something that you should think about. And so I do ask you right now, right here, grab a pen, grab some paper, and begin to write down your pro list and your con list. And be honest and see what shows up for you. I hope that these tips have helped you, and I look forward to sharing more with you.